Welcome to Sensual Secrets, where we talk about how you can live in pleasure by embracing your feminine energy, finding and nurturing a deeply loving relationship, and growing into the best version of yourself. My name is Lieke Seles, and I will be your host, guiding you on this intimate journey of self-discovery. I hope you really enjoy, and please subscribe. It would mean so much to me. Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to a new episode of Sensual Secrets. Today I want to talk about living magnetically, and more specifically, how you can change your inner and outer world by focusing on your vibrational frequency. Because you see, we all vibrate at a certain frequency, and you can feel really good, joyful, and you can be super happy, laughing a lot. And when people tell you that you're shining, that means that you have a high vibe. You are vibrating at a high frequency. On the other end of the spectrum, it could be that you're feeling sad, angry, or depressed, and you don't have any energy for life. You don't have any chi, you don't have any life force, and you are vibrating on a really low frequency. Something that's really important to keep in mind is that the frequency that you are vibrating at will be your point of attraction in every aspect of your life. So simply put, it means that when you're feeling bad, you are attracting more bad things into your life, like the law of attraction. And what you give is what you get. But that doesn't mean that these things necessarily look bad from the outside. Usually it's way more subtle. You know, it can be people that you love, it can be your family members, your colleagues, your friends. You know, it can be that you are feeling bad and all of a sudden you're bumping into people who are always having a low vibe, who are always complaining. They've always got some sort of problem to talk about, to share about. And it could also be in completely different situations, not just related to people. Like, for example, when you are having a bad day, you are feeling very irritated. And then on top of that, there's an issue with ordering your food when you go out for lunch and you're just not in a good flow. You keep bumping into blockages. On the other hand, it might be that you're feeling amazing. You are glowing. You're feeling a deep sense of gratitude, inner peace. You're super joyful, and more beautiful synchronicities start popping up throughout your day. Like, for example, the other day I bumped into a woman who I met at acro yoga, and we started talking about what we do in our lives. So I told her that I coach women and I help them to live connected to their heart, their femininity. I help them to connect and embody their true authentic selves. And some of them, I help them to set up their business from the heart, from the feminine. And so she immediately said, "Oh, now I understand. That is why I bumped into you, because it is exactly what I need in my life." So we set up a meeting to discuss how I could help her, and we were both feeling extremely lucky and grateful for this coincidence to happen. You see, our environment, the people we meet, the opportunities that come our way will match energetically with how we feel, with our vibe and our frequency. So how can we raise our vibration and embody more joy, more beauty, experience all of this goodness in our lives? And how can we keep our vibration high? There are a lot of things, a lot of aspects that contribute to this. And I believe that every little choice you make in your life has an impact. And that goes from choosing to have a slice of bread with Nutella for breakfast to how you treat other people, what your interactions look like, and the thoughts you have. So today I will go over a few things that have an impact on raising your vibration, but there are so many more little things that I could keep discussing. For now, first of all, maybe one of the most important things to me is practicing emotional regulation and nervous system regulation. When you are stressed, it might look like you have a lot of energy because you just keep running around, but it's just on a basis of adrenaline and cortisol, and you won't really have a high vibe. You won't really be the light in other people's days. You most likely even have the opposite effect. People naturally don't enjoy being around you because you pass that stress on to them, and it makes them feel bad. It makes them feel restless or stressed too. To regulate your nervous system, you can do some deep abdominal breathing. You can do it just right here, right now. So that means that when you inhale, you make sure that your belly, your bowels are being pushed out because you contract your diaphragm, and in that way, your vagal nerve will be stimulated. And the stimulation of the vagal nerve triggers a parasympathetic response in your body. And that is the same as a relaxing response in your body. So you could just try to do some abdominal breathing, or you could do a few minutes of box breathing. That means that you breathe in for 4 counts, you hold your breath in for 4 counts, then you breathe out for 4 counts, and then you hold that breath out for 4 counts. And you repeat this cycle, this box that you breathe in for just a few minutes. And you'll notice the effect that it has on your nervous system, on the way that you're feeling, and it'll probably calm you down a lot. Other ways are meditation. You can do some sports, you can take cold showers, or you can do ice baths, which is taking ice baths is part of my daily routine. And it gives you an amazing boost of dopamine, and you're able to handle any stressors coming your way throughout the day way better. I feel like in a way you are training yourself how to deal with stress and to stay calm in that situation. A big part of your nervous system regulation is also your environment. And then sometimes we don't realize how much of our environment is actually what we feed ourselves intellectually. So really check in with what you are feeding yourself. Are you watching the news every day? Are you looking at all the problems in the world? And are you just filling yourself up with negativity? Which accounts are you following on social media? How do they make you feel? Do they give you stress, or do you feel upset after watching or reading certain posts? Become aware of how stress shows up in your body and all of the little things that trigger it throughout your day, so that you can change them, some of them, and learn how to deal with them better, to come back to your center, to have some tricks up your sleeve, to calm yourself down, to gather some tools that you build up over the years and that you can really reach for in times of need. Next to nervous system regulation, let's talk about emotional regulation. How aware are you of your emotions, and how can you consciously choose to move towards a higher frequency, a higher vibrating emotion? This does for sure not mean that low vibrational emotions are bad. We are here in this human existence to experience the full spectrum of our emotions, and even in pain there is beauty to be found and lessons to be learned. And without this contrast, we probably wouldn't even fully appreciate what it's like to feel amazing. That being said, with all due respect and honor to any lower vibrational emotions, can you consciously choose happiness? Can you make a commitment to happiness and consciously work towards that? And this is mostly a matter of what perception you have on certain circumstances in your life. No matter what happens to you or what happens around you and what situation you're at, can you consciously choose to view it differently? When you make this promise with yourself to choose happiness, you can remind yourself in any situation in your life that you can pick a better feeling perspective when moving throughout your day, or when you are feeling grumpy, for example, you're low in energy and you are complaining about what's happening with you or in the world, and you feel stuck in a victim mindset. Remind yourself that you can also choose happiness and empowerment instead. Even though this might sound like oversimplifying things, you can choose the perspective of happiness and make a commitment of viewing the world and your life in that way. And then with all of the emotional regulation that we have already discussed, like holding space for your emotions, how to process them physically, or choosing a better feeling emotion, which I talk about in episode 11, Navigating Life's Lows. In that episode, I discuss strategies for returning to your emotional well-being, to your emotional center, and you might also find it interesting to listen to that as I explained some tools there on how you can emotionally balance yourself again when you're feeling low. So check out episode 11 when you finish this and you want to go a bit deeper into this. Then in talking about what we feed ourselves, it's not just intellectually, but it is also the nutrition that we feed ourselves, which has such a big impact on how we feel and what our vibration is. Are you feeding yourself crap or are you eating healthy? Are you eating organic? Are you eating whole foods? Are you limiting your sugar intake? Nowadays, I think it's crazy that eating healthy is actually seen as weird. It's not the norm. The norm is to have a bad diet which creates diseases. And when you choose to eat healthy, people might look at you as being extreme. Personally, I'm conscious of what I feed my body, but it doesn't mean that I don't enjoy my life, that I'm super strict on myself. I enjoy eating nourishing foods and feeling good after having a meal so much more than eating junk food or just a bunch of seed oils, sugar, etc., which completely drop my energy and make me feel bloated or sick. For me, it's so much more important to feel good, and having my food support that objective. So as I said, this absolutely does not mean that I'm extremely strict on myself, because I, of course, love my chocolates. But, for example, if I have the choice between eating a packaged brownie full of additives or even a normal fresh brownie, and on the other hand, a healthier dark chocolate cake with, for example, dates instead of refined sugar, etc., I would way rather eat the healthier option and also look for it. And a big game changer in my diet has been to quit alcohol, because I feel like alcohol is literally like poisoning myself. It lowers my vibration and it just doesn't make sense to me to drink. I don't feel good in the moment when I'm drinking, and I for sure don't feel good the day after. I feel dehydrated, I'm not as clear, I have lower energy, I'm more irritable, and I've had only half the amount of deep sleep. And so when you naturally feel good and you're vibing high, you become so sensitive to anything that really lowers your vibration, and it just does not make sense to even have one glass anymore to me. And as a little side note, I've also started juicing recently, which means that I'm still eating normally, but I've added 1.5 liters of green juice to what I eat every day. And there's multiple reasons why I'm doing this, but I'm for sure making another episode on this and maybe go a bit deeper into nutrition at a later stage. To close off the topic of nutrition, something that might sound funny to some of you, but something that I have been doing for years is to bless my food before having a meal. I charge my food with love and I express my gratitude to this food for nourishing me, for helping me to build healthy cells, for giving me good energy. And I express my gratitude to all of the people, the animals, and the natural elements that have helped in this process of getting this food onto my plate. And that means being grateful for the rain that has been falling on the land where the vegetables have been growing, being grateful for the farmer, being grateful for the people that have been processing the food, cleaning it, cooking it if I didn't cook it myself, etc. And so when I bless my food, I literally hold my hands over the food. And when I do this, I envision all of these intentions going into the food and literally charging the food up with love, gratitude, blessings. So in the same way that my grandparents used to pray for their food, I do a similar thing, but in a different way. You know, same, but different. And then, of course, a really big part also for adding to your vibration, to a high vibe, and to a healthy life, actually, is movement. And again, which movement feels good to you? How do you feel optimally? And it will be different for each of us individually. For example, I really enjoy tennis because it's such a nice game. I'm moving my body, but I'm not feeling like I'm doing any repetitive exercises for the sake of it. I'm really enjoying moving while playing a game. Although I also really enjoy going to the gym and feeling my muscles burning and getting stronger. Next to that, I also love running, for example, really feeling that runner's high by generating endorphins in my body, which is another feel-good hormone next to dopamine. Running really helps me to clear out my thoughts. It feels like I can process all of the things that come up while moving my body. And so I feel like I'm literally moving them out of my body, letting them go. But then lately, I'm really investing into playful movements because I think for me that brings me the most joy. And going off of what brings me joy while moving my body, I've started practicing acro yoga and contact improvisation dancing. And honestly, it's been so beautiful to learn these new skills. They are both very playful activities. You can truly play again with your body like a child, and that even while interacting with other people. So you're also having the benefits of having the physical touch, having the contact, having the skin contact, which creates oxytocin, which is another feel-good hormone that makes us feel loved. And it's a hormone that they also call the cuddle hormone. And the dancing is also an expression, a creation. It's an art form. And next to these new skills in contact improv, I also absolutely love ecstatic dance. This is something that really raises my vibration so much. When you can just dance without caring about anybody watching, you can fully express yourself. You can connect with the music and you can really go into it and have a live art performance, have a live art creation, not to perform actually for anybody, but yourself. And when I dance, I can really get into a meditative state, connect with my body, with the music, and feel into my body however it wants to express in the moment without any judgment. I've also started my yoga practice again. And wow, today I've had another experience of that amazing after yoga glow when your body feels completely open, when you've opened your hips and you've opened your heart, while also being present in your body and combining that with breathwork and letting go of your distracting mind. Wow, that's definitely a form of movement that lifts my vibration so much. So we've discussed nervous system regulation, emotional regulation. We've gone over some nutrition, the movement, a bit of the body. But now let's talk about the mind. Because we're looking for a balance of mind, body, soul, right? What can you do for some more mental alignment with a high vibration? You could practice some empowering affirmations, some loving affirmations. You can start talking to yourself out loud. You can start talking to yourself in the mirror, which in the beginning might be very confrontational, but it is very effective. When you look at yourself in the mirror and you tell yourself that you love you. I never used to do this until a few years ago, to truly look into my own eyes and connect with myself and to see myself. Wow, it can be very profound the first time that you do it. Taking the time to really look at yourself and tell yourself how amazing you are, how proud you are of yourself, and how powerful you are, how much you love yourself. I might run to the mirror after this and just take a moment with myself. But so, to get back to it, what are your thoughts? Are you conscious of the limiting beliefs that keep coming back? How do you speak to yourself? Do you use a lot of negative expressions or words? And how can you change them into something more empowering or loving? Something that I think is very helpful is to write down a list whenever you notice. It can be in your phone, it can be in your diary. Write down a list of all of the negative things that you notice throughout the day on how you are speaking to yourself. And take note, most of these things aren't out loud. Most of these things happen inside of your own mind. But try to write them out Make a list of the things that you notice popping up during your day. And then sit down and for each negative expression or belief, write out something you could say instead. How can you turn this into something more loving, something more positive, empowering? I try to be very aware of what I say and think, because our words can literally cast magic spells. You can speak things into existence. So be very mindful of what you choose to speak and think. So yeah, these are just a few things that help you keep your vibration high, but it's not always easy to do this, to keep vibing high, and that's normal because life throws us curveballs. But then the more that you practice this, the more that you put in the consistency and the discipline to keep your vibration high, the easier it is to consistently feel good without experiencing any deep crashes. And in that way, it is really what you give is what you get. Because when I go partying and I don't have any sleep, or even when I still used to drink, for sure, the day after, it had an immediate impact on how I would feel and move through my day and enjoy my life. Be aware of the price that you're paying for doing certain things, because eventually it's up to you to put in the effort as well and to take responsibility to bring yourself back up. Something for me that messes with my vibration the most lately is when I don't have clarity and my ego, my mind, my lower self starts messing with my flow and starts to distract me with some mental blockages, some fears, some insecurities, when my mind is distracting me and creating blockages for a free flow of love. So I get confused between living in my power and my higher self and being distracted in my mind by old patterns or negative thoughts trying to bring me down. What works really well for me in coping with this is returning to the present moment, returning to being in presence, in the here and now, what actually is reality in the moment. Yeah, I could really keep going on and on about all of the things that I've learned over the past few years and integrated into my life regarding raising my vibration and living a healthy lifestyle, physically, mentally, emotionally. And honestly, I think I might make a course out of it because it's so much. There's so much to talk about, and it's such an interesting topic because it just touches every aspect of our lives. And all of those little things come together to create a beautiful result. So let me know if you'd be interested in hearing more about this, and if you're interested in raising your own vibration by implementing new knowledge step by step. Because if we come back to where we started, doing this work and keeping your vibration high means that you will change inwardly, and you will also change your environment, your inner and your outer world. And your life conditions will change around you since you are a match. You are in resonance with more beautiful things. You become a magnet for all of the good stuff that life has to offer. And you live in that magnetism. And the magnetism of those beautiful events happening, of those beautiful interactions, of those beautiful life circumstances, in turn will make you feel even better when you practice this presence and gratitude. And then you find yourself in this beautiful upward spiral by putting in the work. And I'll leave it at that. Have a beautiful day.